So I'm just going on a rant about a bunch of bullshit, and I typically get into my little rants about bullshit. So what I was discussing with myself, which I do talk to myself pretty frequently, engaging conversation. I think it's a little bit more beneficial to my personal growth and development, intellectually at least, to do this at times and just blast the same nonsense music and sing along, although that is also refreshing and helps maintain mental states and all that. Anyways, back to the bullshit. I was talking about a principle or a quote that I had read from Warren Buffett just the other day, basically relating to recognizing weaknesses or areas that you lack expertise or knowledge or skill sets in, and filling those gaps with individuals that possess that skill set, expertise, or knowledge. And that would be considered a trait of successful people, is recognizing when it's more useful to your cause or what have you to outsource, essentially, or to seek assistance or help or expert opinion. So where I was going with this was the example of recognizing your weaknesses and capitalizing on your strengths and building a team around you that possesses the skill sets that you're weak in, because they will ultimately allow you to become more successful or to accomplish more of the things that you hope for yourself, because they will aid in that progression that is required to become or to obtain whatever level of wealth or status that you hope to obtain, and vice versa, because you would be able to provide them the same thing that they lack. So whatever that is you bring to the table is going to be universally used amongst that grouping of people. But that is, I guess, the essential part of that principle, is to master what you do well, recognize where you lack the experience or knowledge base, and then growing a team around you that possess the skill sets that ultimately revolve around your weaknesses or lack of expertise. And that is pretty much the premise of bartering, whether it be goods or services. Someone that raises cattle and does that exceptionally well is not doomed to a life of just eating meat. That's where the bartering with a farmer that does exceptionally well in growing crops, would be able to barter the beef for the crops and the crops for the beef, and everyone is essentially being able to fulfill their needs, just like a plumber and electrician can, or what have you. There's limitless possibilities out there, but that's basically the premise of bartering. Another one of the Warren Buffett principles or quotes that I read the other day, which I really liked, and I've read a bunch of quotes from Warren Buffett, which was never take advice from someone that you're not willing to trade shoes with. And I think that's a big one, especially for people that kind of start to grow apart from their I guess friend bases, and that's something that happens all the time, essentially. As you age and you grow older, I guess your goals and things that you set out for yourself, and you may tend to grow apart from certain individuals, certain friends and stuff, and you may even, under certain circumstances, interact with people on a daily basis that don't possess the same mindset or ambition as your own. And we all talk about our lives, and things that we have going on, and our hopes and dreams and whatever, with people to some extent. It might not be everyone that we encounter, but we have these conversations with some people, and to sit there and talk about these things, and then obviously at some point there's probably been someone that's offered you some life advice or something along those lines to help you out with your decision, or to help you achieve whatever it is where you're talking about in that conversation. And they may not offer the best advice or an uneducated opinion on something or what have you, and they might be very, very persistent with that opinion of whatever it is they're talking about. But it's important to recognize that although everyone's going to have an opinion if you coax it out of them, it's not always to say that that opinion is valid or valuable to what it is you're trying to accomplish. So I would be very cautious about listening at everyone's opinion, because if you're not willing to trade shoes with them, if you're not willing to be in the same position that they're in, then you don't really need to be listening to their life advice or criticisms. And it's not to say that everyone's opinion is invalid just based on that logic, but it's just to take things into consideration and to help identify when one of those situations might be occurring.